Hi. I just wrapped up my workday and I thought I'd take a few minutes to talk about the pros and cons of teaching online, working online, that kind of stuff. And I want to go back to the beginning about how I got started, because I've been working online for 4 years. I gave up all brick and mortar. I haven't worked outside of my home or for anybody other than me for the last 4 years. And since I came back from China, yeah, and I was working with school. I did a program. I worked and lived over there for about a year and a half, and that was really fun too. But when I came back home, I wanted to continue to do what I was doing, and I was thinking about maybe going back and looking for another position and seeing a different part of China. But I started to look into the online. I got into that, and through the school system there. What I call normal on online classes, which is like where you get piped into a classroom of at a school, at a public school with like 45, 50 kids behind you. And university classes, things like that. I was doing that online, but somebody told me to go read an article, and I'm reading this article about all these young people, these millennials who have figured it out, by the way. But at the time, I'm reading all this stuff about these young people who are traveling the world, they're living out of hotels, they're paying off their student loans, and they're doing all of this with like $2,000 a month, right? That's on average. That's what they were claiming to be making, while they were living out of hotels and traveling the world and paying off their student loans, right? Because that one right there, the paying off the student loan, I was like, yeah, no way, this, and pardon my French, but bullshit. And I was out to prove it. And I was writing an article that was going to highlight that, these work at home scams, I think, So as I'm doing all this research and I'm looking into these things, and I'm like, yeah, no way, there's just no way, right? And I looked into a handful of companies, and I was like, wait, and it got my attention, yeah. I gotta tell you, I love what I do. There's a handful of cons. The pros for me, I want to tell you right off, work for yourself. There is no bigger pro. Working for you when you are the boss and you answer to you, and every decision is on your lap, on your plate. When you are in charge of you, it's a different kind of lifestyle. That is one of my more favorite things about working for me, is that I am the be all end all. It starts with me, it ends with me, and that's what it is. So that's my favorite part. The other one is just getting to, not having to get into a car and drive, having my office, right down the hallway from where I am. And you don't even need an office right away. Like you can, any corner of your house will help you get started. You just need something behind you. And with most companies, it's like that. I work for a company named Palefish. Palefish is in China. Their headquarters are in Beijing. I've been there. I went and I visited. So like I said, I was writing this article, and I was going to prove that all of it was just, hooey. No way. And you surely couldn't make that kind of money, right? Okay. I was so wrong. So I get into this company, and Palefish at that time was only like a year old. They were brand new. There's like, who else is out there? VIP Kid. There's a bunch of new ones. Magic Ears is a good company. I love my company. Like I said, I haven't gone anywhere else because I love them. I've been there. I've been to their offices. I've met the people that work there. So I'm happy where I am. But there are so many companies out there, and I was like, wow, this is a really good kept secret, because wouldn't everybody want to do this if they knew about it? But it's not for everybody. And that was the other thing that right away I figured that one out. If your dream job was to work at Disney when you were a teenager, or Six Flags, and be like a happy hi, how can I make your day better kind of personality, then this is the kind of job you would like, right? But it's not standard classroom. It's entertainment meets classroom. It reminds me of Sesame Street, to be quite honest, and I model a lot of what I do in my classroom that way. But yeah, so, I joined this company, right? And I'm like, every skeptical bone in my body is like, okay, so let's see if I get paid, if it really, really works out, right? I didn't trust anything in the beginning at all. And, there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. It wasn't really a thing yet. The online work environment just wasn't like that big of a thing. So, I jumped in, I gave it a chance. And the thing with Palefish, they have two programs. They have the kids program, where you exclusively teach the children the package that is provided by this company, and that's put together by Pearson. So they're hooked up with a lot of companies internationally too, and the platform is really nice. But they also have what they call a free talk, which is like conversational, and that's open to like everybody, adults, college students, kids do it too. But in that case, you would provide the material. Like if there's work, you're providing like lesson plans and things like that. That's why I like the kids program. It's already done for you. You have to know, you have to be prepared for your classes. But so the first week that I tested this company out, I did only the phone calls, and I made $75, literally never turning on my webcam and just talking on the phone. And I was like, okay, you got my attention. Now I'm curious, right? And so I went to the kids program, and I applied for that, and then I started there in February of 3 years ago. And 3.5 years, right? I can't do the math today. It's been a long night. And it was right before their Chinese New Year. And so they weren't like all that busy. And that first month I made $750. So it's $75 in that first week. I can prove this too. I took screenshots and pictures. I have taken everything because I was surprised. I never in a million years believed that you could actually have a career, that you could work from home and afford to do so. Yeah. And so now in my third month, when my eyes were open, I was like, okay, well now you got me, right? And I went to work 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week. I did that for my first year and a half with them. I think I pulled maybe 50 hours a week. I worked like a crazy person, like a dog. But there were months when, on average, I'm going to say you make anywhere between $2,500 to $3,500 US dollars a month, working full-time hours. There were months when I made $4,000, $5,000 a month, a couple of months here and there when I put in like overtime hours, and just kind of, I don't do that anymore. Like I did that for the first year and a half to really kind of build up my student base and get started and make sure, that I got to where I needed to be. I gave myself a year to pull it off. And I was like, okay, at the end of the year, if I can't figure this out, then I'll have to think about it again. But I'm so glad that I stuck it out, because I questioned myself every step of the way. I was like, mistakes? Is this a mistake? Am I making a mistake? But yeah, no, I just, the hardest part of this job was turning myself from an employee into an employer. You have to be self-disciplined to work from home. Because as great as the job is, when you're working for companies like this online, there's penalties that come into play. There's financial penalties that come into play. So, for example, if you're late to a class, you have to pay a fine, right? They're paying for your time. You're late, so you have to pay a fine. There's all kinds of weird stuff like that. So I don't be late, right? That rule number one, don't be late. A good teacher is not late. Don't be absent. That one carries a big fine and can get you fired, but do that in any job, right? Don't show up for your shift and don't call and don't do your job. And it doesn't matter who you work for, you're getting canned. Yeah. So these are common sense ones, but, in this work environment, it can cost you financial penalties, yeah, and it can really kind of hurt your reputation. And parents, they talk back and forth and they make recommendations to each other all the time, and you don't want to put yourself in a position to where where the main talk about you is how irresponsible you are. You know what I mean? So like I said, these are some of the cons. You really need to think about that, because the hours, I live in Las Vegas, so I'm on Pacific time, which is what, 16 hours I think behind China. When it's 8 o'clock at night in China, it is 5 o'clock in the morning here at my house. And my workday usually starts around 4 p.m. in China on most days. Now, when I was doing this early on, I started like the night before at like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, and worked all the way until 8 o'clock the next morning, like true grave hours. But it's because I was trying to quickly establish myself and like build all this up. Let's see. Yeah. I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, you know, don't be absent, don't be late. There's penalties for stuff like that. And you know, it's kind of hard to explain, but you're getting paid X amount to do this class. And then let's say you make X amount of mistakes in a month, and that's, you know, it's complicated to explain. If you're in this industry already, you totally get that, right? And it's frustrating because it's a completely different work environment too than working in the United States. And a lot of companies do things differently. The company I work for is in China. It's a Chinese company. It's Chinese owned. It's Chinese operated, and it's under Chinese business laws. So it has so much different than the way we do things here in the United States. And that's a big thing to know when you're going into a workplace like this, because you can't go in with the same expectations and the same mindset. It changes things. And again, you work for you. So if that's not for you, if you test out the waters and you find that it's just not what you like, then you can, you know, go on to someplace else. Because there's a million online jobs. There really are. They're all over the place. And there's all kinds of things like customer service. Amazon's always hiring for that. Insurance companies are always like hiring for that kind of stuff. If you don't like kids, you don't want to be in the kids program. And I mean it. You really, you know, there's jobs where you go to your job just to get paid. Teaching kids shouldn't be one of those jobs. And you might not agree with me and you might not like my opinion on that, but the kids, they know, you know. And if you really, really, really want to do something like this as a job, as a career, as a full-time thing, you kind of got to like your clients. And your clients are little, and they stick their hands and feet and eyeballs and blow raspberries. They do all of that right in the webcam. The good news is like you cannot catch germs through a webcam. So there's a huge upside there too. And I laugh it all off. I really do. I just let go and let them be kids because they're being kids. But you really kind of want to like kids to do this. Otherwise, you really want to look into more of the adult programs. And there's a handful of those out there too. I'll start to gather some links and I'll put some things together for a future video. But anyway, 13 minutes in, this is a long one. If you are interested, yeah, I have a link to my company, Palfish, here below this video. Check it out, see if you like the app. I love them. Like I said, you know, they're one of many companies, but it's the company that I choose to. I'm happy there. I like them. I've been there a long time, and I love my students, and it's just all good. You know, if you need more information, if you want to talk more about it, just shoot me a message and let me know. I am always here and I'm always available to talk about it. So thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, yeah, by all means. And also, please, if you are watching this video, hit the subscribe button and the like button, or that I don't like this because blah blah blah. I don't really care what the reason is. If you would respond and do one of those two things, that'd be awesome. I'll see you later. Bye.